Hi. I had the pleasure last week of conducting over an hour-long interview with a leader at my institution, and this was prompted by an assignment I needed to complete for a class that I'm taking. And I wanted, of course, to send a thank you note the next day. And the transcript of the interview, of the conversation, was 98 pages long. And I uploaded that into Claude and asked it to create a thoughtful thank you note that articulated my appreciation and gratitude, that the conversation was impactful to me both professionally and personally, and I wanted to include some anecdotes or some quotes from the conversation itself. And Claude came up with a great first draft, and after 3 or 4 more conversations with Claude, I ended up with something that I was pleased with. And I have been thinking over the weekend about the value of uploading massive text documents to AI, and was reflecting as well on how this could have been used during my time in the classroom. And I thought it might be interesting to share some thoughts that came up. One project that students really seemed to get engaged with was a project around the decision to drop the atomic bomb. And the research they had to conduct involved looking at a multitude of primary sources to help them understand the stance of a biographical person whose involvement triggered that decision. And we would utilize a great deal of content from the Truman Presidential Library, as well as autobiographies and news articles from the time. So I was thinking about the impact on a learner of being able to upload all of that content into AI and to ask AI to identify, looking at all of these primary sources, please identify key themes, and we could be more specific. So I'd like key themes related to the military, to political considerations behind the decision, ethical debates, public response, so we could shift the lens of the AI extrapolating key themes if we wish. And then, of course, we could ask AI to provide background context on these primary sources. So please help me understand the development of the Manhattan Project. Please help me understand what was happening in the Pacific during this time. Or I'd like some background information on Stimson, the Secretary of War. So as we're working with primary source documents, understanding where our gaps in context are, and having AI collaborate with us to help fill in those context gaps. And then my favorite part would be to step back and ask AI for a bigger lens on this. So using these primary source documents, Dear Robots, what can we extrapolate from this experience? How did this experience get us to, say, the Cold War? How did this experience influence time in Afghanistan? And how did this experience, how's it going to impact us 10 years from now, 20 years from now? I'd be really interested in what AI would have to say about that. The students I worked with often, this is a different example, found something weighty and meaningful in looking at case law. When they had a document from a court decision, this seemed to really matter to them. And these are documents, of course, that are created for legal experts with hours to years of professional experience. So how could AI help younger learners extract the value from case law? So of course we could upload case law into AI and ask AI to analyze the arguments presented on either side, and also help us understand the strengths and the weaknesses of either arguments. And then again, if we take that bigger lens, which I love so much, we could ask AI to consider the broader implications of the decision, whether it was on people's lives day to day or, say, American constitutional law. Where does the impact lie in this court case? And one thing I got really excited about as a research librarian was the ability of digital collections to cohesively draw from a collection of disparate knowledge. So one example I would give in class, we would be talking about using the digital reference collection, and we could put in Karl Marx, and as expected, we might get content from, say, the Encyclopedia of Communism, but we'd also get content from the Encyclopedia of Religion and the Encyclopedia of Economics. So the ability of the digital collections in a library to display the interconnectivity of disciplines could help students not only broaden their understanding of the impact of an idea of a person, but also help as they wanted to narrow their focus they might know, for if I go back to Karl Marx, they wanted to study Karl Marx, but from what academic lens? So the illumination of perspectives was something I dearly and deeply loved when it came to digital collections in libraries, and I think AI quite clearly contains that power as well. And so thinking about how to combine those two, let's say that we uploaded into AI research content from climate change, from public health, from social justice, and of course we could have AI summarize the main points and the findings. We could also ask AI to identify common themes or concepts across the articles, as well as suggest potential connections or intersections between those different disciplines. And then, again, stepping back, we could ask AI to propose research questions or a hypothesis or hypotheses that could be explored based on those connections. So I have really enjoyed thinking about some of the power. I'm sure there's so much more. I can't wait to discover more, to hear more, to learn more, of uploading large text files into AI. Thank you for listening.